Hi everyone, welcome to Adventures with Raven and Rowley. I'm Raven. This is Rowley. It's my good boy. Okay, I hate moving. I hate moving across town. Imagine having to move internationally. If you're curious, join us on this journey and continue to watch. I'm moving my stuff from the Mojave Desert in Nevada, USA, to Switzerland. I'm giving away my car, my RV, and my cargo trailer. This sounds like a crazy thing to do. I could sell the stuff, and make nice money. For instance, the cargo trailer alone has 650 watts of solar panels, it has 200 watts of batteries, controllers, all of the cables and extra stuff. It has a dual refrigerated freezer. It can freeze all, make it all fridge, or make it all freezer, or half and half. You could reverse the sides, which side is freezer, which side is, But I chose to give it away, even though it sounds crazy to just give it all away. I did this because I have a need to give back. I felt a need to give back. I'm not telling you to toot my own horn, I'm just telling you so that you can hear the story. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any kind of sense, right? If I didn't tell you the whole deal. Anyway, people will ask sooner or later anyway what I did with all my stuff that was still in the United States, Anyway, I chose to give back because of my time I spent in the Nevada desert, okay? How this all started was I was living in a house in New Hampshire about 10 years ago. The refrigerator just failed. That was an immediate $1,200 replacement, and didn't include the food that was lost, As it turned out, when the refrigerator freezer was delivered, it was 1 inch too wide for the space. The measurements on the box were wrong. I had to take down all of the cabinets to the right of the refrigerator freezer and move all of them, the top cabinets and the bottom cabinets, over 1 inch. Or I could choose to have the store come get the refrigerator freezer and go to the store, pick out a new one, have a new one delivered, the crazies. Meanwhile, the food is melting, going bad, The skylight cracked in a snowstorm when a guy cleaning the roof stepped through the skylight. We had, 2-3 feet of snow on the roof, and it came into the house. The washing machine was dying. The water heater had been recently replaced, as well as the ensuite bathroom redone when the water pipe that was connected to the toilet let loose and the water was going everywhere. That also involved replacing the bedroom carpet and flooring because we had wall-to-wall carpet throughout the entire place. So everything was wicking everywhere, okay? The costs were going crazy, right? We were the office end of the house. The other end of the house from where the furnace was cold all the time. So finally, we put in a propane heater, which meant, of course, drilling a hole through the wall and putting a tank outside, big tank outside. So, of course, that meant more money every month because I not only paid for the furnace fuel, but I paid for the propane. It was getting crazy, okay? I realized I was coming into 15 years of living there, and it was time to start looking at replacing the roof, okay? So I decided it was time to start looking at something else other than staying where I was, you know? So I started looking at alternative living. But I didn't jump on it. I didn't act right away. You know, I didn't go for it. I was just looking. Of course, as I was looking, money was getting tighter and tighter. I mean, you know, it's ridiculous. Just to raise some extra cash, I started doing craft fairs and creating crafty things, you know, to take to those fairs. I sold things like blended aromatherapy oils. I created the blends and the recipes, plant companion thingies, magic rocks like agates and moonstones, you know, real smooth things that people like to keep in their pocket. It was fun, but it was hard work. Let me tell you, money was still tight after you got entry fees into these fairs. I had to buy new stock and supplies to work on the old ones, and of course, gas to drive around. So I wasn't really making that much money, and standing up all day and being up on all day was very tiring. But I gotta say, by the end of the day, even with all of that work, packing and unpacking, setting up and tearing down, it was fun. It was really fun. I met people there who lived in their RVs. And they went from fair to fair up and down the East Coast and sold their products. So they were pretty much chasing 70 most of the time, you know, and living good life on the road. Anyway, during that time, I met a crafter. This guy was a former doctor. I met him at a fair, and he suggested that I would benefit from living in an RV, and showed me the inside, and I said, oh, wow. Oh, wow. So anyway, I thought at the time, oh, I don't have that kind of money. Of course, knowing what I know now, he was living in a Phaeton, you know, and it's a $100,000 RV. And I had no way of knowing, and didn't even consider used RVs or anything like that. I just looked at his and said, ha! That's nice, but no way, okay? So anyway, I was looking for alternative living methods. About a year later, I came across cheaprvliving.com. The movie Nomadland was made more or less about him and the community that he's working with. But anyway, Bob Wells was teaching about how to live on the road and how to live cheaply. At that point, I remembered what the doctor said about RVs. Bob talked about how to get residency in another state, how to get your mail forwarding, anything you could think of about living off-grid in a wheeled vehicle. I mean, his website is comprehensive. I mean, seriously comprehensive. So I went out and I bought a used 35-foot motorhome and moved out of my house in New Hampshire. I was going for the sunshine. I was so tired of snow. I was seriously tired of snow, let me tell you. So I did the yard sale thing, spread across 2 lawns, no less, mine and people across the street. It was not fun. Although the motorhome was fun to drive. Driving it was just absolutely terrific. You sit above the crowd, you can see way down. Oh yeah, you know, that was nice. That was seriously nice. I've never driven anything that large before, absolutely never. So I want to thank YouTube University for teaching me what to spot, how to drive, how to turn, what to look for, all that kind of stuff, because there was no driving schools anywhere nearby. And all you need is a regular driving license to drive one of those things, even though you may not have ever driven one before. Have no clue how they react in the wind or, you know. So YouTube University was real good to me on that respect, because I drove 3,300 miles, give or take a couple of miles. I did it in about 2 weeks because I didn't want to just drive, you know what I mean? It took me 2 weeks to get from New Hampshire to Nevada to start my new life, right? My plan was to stay at an RV park for 30 days and register my car there and get a new driver's license and register to vote and get mail forwarder and then travel around the country. You know, I could live on BLM land and change places every 2 weeks and do it only every 2 weeks so I can keep the cost of gas down, you know. So I could live like that a heck of a lot cheaper than I could anywhere else. Of course, that didn't happen. I got to the RV park and paid my 30 days so that I could establish residency. And I ended up staying for 5 years. On day 2 of being at that park, a man offered me a membership to the park for free. That meant that I didn't have to leave the park. I could just stay there forever, as long as I paid the lot rent, you know. That was a $5,000 value, I found out later. I mean, I had only been in the park for 2 days, you know. His friend had died and had wanted the membership to be just given away. Obviously, I was in the right place at the right time, if you believe in omens, you know. So I was there, you know. After a year, I moved into a fifth wheel out of the motorhome. I had just left my marriage and I needed a place to stay. When I left with just the car and whatever I could pack in it. You know, it was one of those kind, you know. So here I was, homeless again. And so the people in the park started asking around. I mean, I was sitting in the car at one point, just kind of sitting there blank. And this woman comes over and knocks on my window and says, "I've got an RV for you." Now, personally, I don't know how she even heard about my predicament. I didn't know that anybody in that park knew who the heck I was. You know, it was just amazing. And she talked to people and found people, and the next thing I knew, I was moving into a brand new to me, fifth wheel. The owners of it had it up for sale. They had wanted $5,000 firm. They wanted to hear no stories, no nothing, but they let me pay it off monthly. Let me move into it and pay it off monthly. It was amazing. And that was within a week. Within a week. It was amazing. So anyway, after 4 years of living in that fifth wheel, I realized I was still in that crazy low money situation. It's getting ridiculous, you know. I started looking for alternative ways of living again. So remembering Bob Wells and cheap RV living and having gone out on a few of the caravans with the women's caravans and gone to the RTR, the Rubber Tree Rendezvous, I thought nothing much of moving out into a 6x12 cargo trailer, period. So that's what I did. I moved out into a cargo trailer, 6x12 cargo trailer, fixed it up, and it was out there on the desert for 11 months. I'll say a year. It was scary. It was fun, too. It was really, really beautiful. And it was thought-provoking. And I have to say that it was spiritually enlightening, for sure. I found a lot about myself. It was uplifting, too. Anyway, then my daughter made an offer there was no way to refuse. Absolutely no way to refuse. I took it and ended up here in Switzerland. So trying to cover my ass, I left everything in storage in the US. I figured, okay, I'm only going to be here for 2.5 years, and when I get back, I could just pick up where I left off and go live on a piece of land that I'm buying and all of that kind of good stuff, okay? I already got everything I need, just get out there and do it. Of course, I would be 82, 83 when I got back, and I could just see me starting homesteading then, but why not? I could see myself starting homesteading then. I'm in physically pretty good shape, you know. Most of it I can leave there, but some of it is important, and some of the stuff that's still there in storage is sentimental, and I want it, okay? So I got, in lieu of flying back to 19 hours to fly back to Nevada and a week hotel to go through all of that stuff, and then shipping it all, and then flying back another 19 hours, I got somebody over there to go through that stuff and just ship it to me, you know. It took me a couple of days to make a list of what I wanted and where everything was. It's amazing what you can remember. It's in the house. I've been gone, it's about a week now, and I have not added anything else to the list that I can remember that I wanted, you know. But anyway, there's a catch. Okay, so I've got this man going through my stuff and packing up boxes, and the shipping company is all ready to pack up, and they got boxes, and things are moving along. The man has come to get the cargo trailer, and there's a catch. I can only ship a few boxes through the mail, and I definitely have more stuff than I remember, or it's larger in size than I remembered. Ain't that always the case? So I've got to ship through some other method, which we're in the process of investigating right now. So everything over there is pretty much on hold, kind of, because the guy who's packing stuff is still packing stuff, and the shipping company is holding that stuff. So it's moving along. But you know, the thing about moving internationally and moving in this way is I'm making arrangements in America while I'm still in Switzerland. There's 9 hours difference between, so phone calls are very difficult, you know. Like it is Friday afternoon here while it's Friday morning there, you know. So I have to wait until 2, 3, 4 o'clock before I can make a call to somebody. And if they want to call me back later in the day, it's the middle of the night for me, you know. Anyway, the people are packing, people are shipping, getting stuff ready for shipping. So, you know, and then I'm thinking of shipping. I might have to ship via ship. The American government is trying to shut down in another 5 weeks. Or threatening to shut down in another 5 weeks. They already went through last week of trying to shut down. So that means that shipping is going to slow down big time for everybody, because you have the people who inspect all of that stuff, shipping inspectors, you know. They're going to stop, because if the government stops funding, these people are not going to get paid, and they're not going to go to work for nothing, you know. Granted, when they go, you know, in some instances anyway, when they go back to work, you know, they'll get their back pay, but, you know, like, how do you pay the rent? You know, most people are living paycheck to paycheck, you know. Anyway, as a result, it's going to be a while before I get my stuff. But I'm not, I mean, you know, I've been 7 months now without it, so what the heck. This time in Switzerland has passed really, really, really fast. I feel like I've been here forever, and it's only been 6 months I've been here, and 1 month it was in New Jersey. And I've only been away from the desert for 7 months. But it feels like it's been a long, long time. So anyway, I decided to donate everything instead of trying to sell everything that I don't want shipped, okay? I know, as I said, there are sounds crazy, but I know there are people who are homeless, just like me, okay, who could really use the cargo trailer or the RV, and the SUV could be lived in. You know, I mean, when you're homeless, you'll go. You know, you'll try your best to do your best, okay? So I contacted a woman that a friend suggested. And she wrote me back after about a week and said she couldn't, in all honesty, take the cargo trailer. And she suggested this man named Dean. His story says that his trailer burnt down. He sent pictures. He had a heart attack and he's homeless. He's living out in the desert now in his truck. So donating to him a cargo trailer is a place where he can stand up and cook. You know what I mean? My point was to donate it to someone who needs it. I didn't care. Just, you know, if they needed it, they could have it. The RV is going to Janet, who helps by giving homeless families a safe place to live for a while on her land. You know, it's just, you know, there's a lot of really good people out there in the world, you know. The thing is, I couldn't honestly sell anything. Almost everything about the cargo trailer, the car, and the RV was a gift of some sort. You know, even the membership in the park was a gift, okay? So I have to give it back. The windows for the cargo trailer was a gift. The 𝗏𝗏𝗏 battery for the solar system. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 batteries started about $800 now. The 𝗏𝗏𝗏 battery was a gift. The solar system itself, 200 watts of it, of solar panels, were a gift. The solar controller was a gift. The Berkey water filter, the refrigerator freezer, all of the stuff, almost all of the stuff in there was gifts. The water barrels, the water pump, the propane tanks, the King portable power station, and more. And even the rocking chair, which I really didn't want to leave, don't want to leave. I hope somebody really enjoys that rocking chair because it's sweet. They were all gifts, okay? I was destitute and without much hope, but I kept going and random people came to help just at the right time. They for sure helped me survive, and not only survive, but thrive and live like a real human being with dignity. So to all those people who helped, I'm passing this forward, okay? I'm giving it away. I hope this helps a lot of people. And thank you. The Rowley report. Rowley's underneath here sleeping on the bed, on his bed. He's got a small bed here and a big bed over there, and then he lays on my bed, you know. Kid is sick. Anyway, do you sometimes get the feeling that your pets know exactly what you're saying? I asked Rowley to get a new hobby because he runs out the door like a bat out of hell, and he starts barking at the neighbors and he's chasing the neighbor's car. Of course, there's a fence between us and the neighbor's car, but that doesn't stop him, deter him in the slightest. He goes out the door and he runs and he barks and he's crazy, you know. So I had this discussion with him about how he's got to get a new hobby. Barking at the neighbors was not a good thing. In Switzerland, you can get fined if your dog barks too much. But barking was absolutely out, except maybe in the middle of the day, but not on Sundays at all, okay? Because Sundays is bad news. Sundays are quiet days in Switzerland, you know. There's no grass cutting, no noisy stuff of any kind. But he's been complying pretty nicely. He's been doing pretty good. He found a way to make his current hobby work, you know. What he's doing is he would go running out the door like a bat out of hell, still. He'll bark maybe once or twice, and he would still run along the fence, you know, back and forth. He'd do the whole thing except that he just wasn't barking. I tell you, Rowley is a good dog. I'll see you next Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and thanks for watching. and take care of you and yours, and blessed be.